I do have an interesting story for you.
Let's go.
So not a story, an interesting theory.
Okay.
Which is that the hard market has in large part been sustainable into this year because of the number of topics available to underwriters upon which they've been able to point to uncertainty in the world around them.
Sure.
And uncertainty in terms of not necessarily directly risk-relevant factors, but factors that affect the overall supply of capital and its vulnerability. So if you remember what actually kind of led to real struggles with the previous hard market, it was retro capacity had suddenly gone missing, so nobody knew whether there was going to be reinsurance to buy until that became a bit clearer. So even if you think, well, actually it's not been a bad year for marine or whatever, or some individual class of business or some individual region, if the global pool of retro or reinsurance capacity becomes constrained or is hit by a major event, then you're going to expect prices to go up. And we have had hovering over that pool of supply it feels like a record number of simultaneous, what I'm attempting to coin, grey swan events, just waiting to happen. They're not black swan events that nobody thought would happen, but rather they're events that everybody knows could materialize, everybody hopes that they won't, but that seem impressively likely, especially in an era that's just been through the pandemic altogether, where something unthinkable that, yes, we had thought about, had actually happened and had really changed the world for us. So I would point to, for example, the risk of another pandemic coming along. I would point to inflation, which, although has gone largely away to some extent, we may be on the brink of another resurge in inflation. Who knows? Especially if you look at the Middle East right now. You may see a continuation of the Ukraine situation that shows no current sign of abating. It's just sort of overhanging or an escalation. You have the Middle East situation, you have climate change that we've already discussed, and then you have going into 2024, I think it's actually the first time in history that more than half the world's population will be voting in elections. So we're going to have
a lot of uncertainty,
massive upheaval politically. In particular, everyone's looking to the US to see what happens there, because potentially policy changes there could make a whole host of events more or less likely. I think lots of analysts have also pointed to a window of risk around a China-Taiwan situation as well.
So
within next year, and none of these are expected to happen. Like, you look at the numbers, even a Trump presidency coming back is, I think, 30% is like one of the numbers that's been put out. But it's all everyone can think about. Because it's the same for climate change. Like all of these issues, statistically, doesn't feel like they're necessarily going to happen, but they're all just hovering in the minds of everybody who's sat on risk capital.
Because what